Erica. Erica, my dear. Are you okay? Did you find what you were looking for?
I saw Cordelia. Everything's gone to shit, Rose. I feel like I should hate Cordelia after all she's done, but I don't. But Sully? Davies? Oh God. John. Is it so wrong if I say that some part of me understands her?
Erica, Scions have an affinity for empathy. Whatever horrors Cordelia has committed, you cannot help but connect to her human side. The woman she was before, the woman she could have been.
Who is Bautan, Rose?
Did you say Bautan? Oh dear. I haven't heard that name in so very long.
Cordelia mentioned it in my vision.
I'm not sure I want to talk about this.
Please, Rose. I don't know if I can trust her, but this must be important. I have to find her. I have to stop her and her brother. Rose?
Sometimes I can remember the particular smell of the jungle. It was musty and salty, and yet I liked it. It was summer of '72 in Vietnam. I had come with the Catholic Relief, posted in a remote village, helping those affected by the war.
You were in Vietnam? A nun? Why doesn't that surprise me?
No, not a nun, a volunteer. It was a hot morning. Vietnamese soldiers patrolled the area just as they would regularly. I was taking a few hours off, sitting in the plaza outside the village temple. I was watching the kids play ball and looking at a figurine a priest from the temple had given to me, all while trying to do some reading. It was so hot that I couldn't concentrate on my book. And that's when I noticed him.
Bautan?
Yes. There was a wretched man standing under the shadow of a tree, walking back and forth, mumbling nonsense under his breath. In those days, it was not an uncommon thing. War drives people mad, and so I thought he was just another miserable soul still looking for a lost wife or child. Those were desperate days. Sad days, my dear.
What happened then?
Out of nowhere, the man started screaming like a madman, scaring the children. He would run from one child to the next, raving about fires in the sky. Of course, it was not long before the soldiers took him away and threw him in a cell. People were already scared enough. They didn't need a madman to start stirring nonsense.
Was it? Nonsense?
I saw the man's eyes as he was being carried away. They made me very uneasy. But they took him away, and the plaza went back to normal. Hours passed. I got lost in my reading, and then a bright light came, and there was a noise, a big boom. The impact threw me against the wall of the church. I awoke under rubble and dust and blood. There was the body of a dead child next to me. She was holding a doll in her hands. And I remembered the man's word, fire in the skies.
What happened to him?
Bautan was branded a spy, a Viet Cong. No one could have known what happened unless they were privy to that information. In the following nights, I became haunted by visions of him, and I could not stop seeing his eyes, those tortured eyes. I requested they let me see him. It was not easy, but they allowed me to serve as a spiritual counsel to him.
They were going to execute him.
Yes, but not before they tortured him in order to extract information. The day I came to his cell, he would not meet my eyes. He lowered his eyes like a scared puppy. It took me days to reach him, but eventually I did.
What did he tell you, Rose?
He told me that he would feel things, and that this time he had seen the fire in the sky. I went to see him day after day, trying to grant some measure of peace to a hopeless man. I believe I did some good for him, that I was a friend to him when the whole world had abandoned him. When they executed him, he told me something. It's a shame to say that the exact words escape me. I remember his eyes, his soul. and to this day I live by our moments together.
Rose, I don't understand what Cordelia wanted me to learn by this, but I need to try. Would you give me permission to look into your memories?
Oh, my dear.
I won't push you if you don't want me to, but I need to know this, Rose. I might be able to make you remember exactly what he told you. Wouldn't you want to remember that?
Sometimes, yes. But there are some memories better left alone. I will let you, but if I say stop, please stop.
I promise. A temple. I wonder what religion it belongs to. What temple was that?
It's a Cao Dai temple. There are a few of those in Vietnam.
It was given to Rose by the temple priest. Rose was reading a book, but which? What book were you reading, Rose?
Oh, my dear, I don't remember.
What could have happened to him? The children were scared. They were playing with that ball. I wonder what village this is. The kids were playing with a ball.
Yes, I found that ball later and kept it.
What village was this?
The outskirts of Trang Bang and South Vietnam.
Did you ever find out why he said the things he did?
Yes, but I do not wish to think about that. It's too hurtful for me to think about them.
Rose doesn't remember this. I need to find out what this flag really looks like. They thought he was crazy. It got burned as badly as that little girl. She's so lucky to have survived.
I don't think luck has anything to do with it, my dear.
Did I say that out loud? Was Rose using a name other than her own? She doesn't remember it. I need to find out. Why can't you remember your name?
I'm Rose Duvalier, but when I went to Vietnam, they gave us different last names in order to protect us.
So that the enemy couldn't identify your family to blackmail you.
Yes, and I do not remember what that name was. Look in the top left drawer of my desk. Maybe you can find something there to aid you, my dear.
The Alchemy of Happiness. Wait, what's this? It's a piece of a picture. This is Rose in Vietnam, but I can't see the whole thing. It's been ripped. Is this a photograph of you?
Yes, it's from that summer. I tore it to pieces once. I told you, my dear, it's both a very important time in my life and a very sad one.
He gave her something. He gave her something. Rose doesn't remember what he gave her? I need to find out more about this. What did he give you, Rose?
Check that shelf over there.
It's only a piece of a photo. Is that Rose? It's beautiful. This must be what Baotan gave Rose. It's beautiful. Look at her, all smiling and young. She doesn't remember what she told him? What did you tell him, Rose? About what he could do?
Isn't it obvious, my dear?
I know what you can do. I know you will do good by those like us. I can see it. You will be an angel among those like us.
I too
Rose.
have failed, my dear, many times. But we must always pick ourselves up and keep on going. I couldn't save Baotan, but to this day I keep his spirit with me.
You could hear him. You can read minds, Rose? You're one of us?
I can see and hear people's thoughts, my dear. That must be what Cordelia wants you to know.
But why?
I do not know, my dear, but it is certainly something that she has foreseen, and it is undoubtedly part of a plan.
So Cordelia is like Botón. She can see the future. And just like him, she was judged for a crime she did not commit.
This is a very powerful kind of scion, Erica. Also a very cursed one. Those who can see the future are plagued by their visions in ways far worse than those like you who can see the past. I tried to help Cordelia, but the events that unfolded around her came too swiftly to be stopped.
Rose, but how come I could see the future?
I've been thinking about that. It is true that every yin has its yang, and when you bring together scions with contrasting but complementary powers, especially a pair still learning to cope with them, uncontrollable things happen and the powers can clash. What you saw was a vision Cordelia had in the past, her vision of the future, but because it had to do with you, it triggered whenever you were close to her.
So, in the parking lot at the station, and again in the hangman crime scene. But then, why didn't I see it when I met her at the cemetery?
You were probably more susceptible to danger in those other occasions. But I don't have all the answers, Erica. What I do know is that this power links you to each other, which is how you connected to her past so easily at the Inthon Towers.
Why were you so sure that John was in danger?
He confided in me about a few things, and there were other things I read. But it was when you called me from the towers that I made the full connection. What they did to Cordelia after Max's death, it haunted Jean in ways you cannot imagine.
Do you blame her, Rose?
That is a very hard question to answer. I feel for all the scions out there, but in this short time, you have known her better than I ever did, probably better than anyone else. The question is, do you blame her?
I don't know how to begin to answer that question, Rose. Let me entertain a thought here, Rose. You can read minds, and Cordelia wanted me to know this. Now, I know you keep saying your memory is fuzzy, but I need you to concentrate on what I'm about to ask you.
Go on.
When Cordelia was here, was there anything that you read from her thoughts? Anything special? Anything that seemed to matter to her or that could tell me where she or Kane might be?
That would be a very hard thing to... Wait. When Cordelia's visions would overtake her, I would ask her to focus on a place that would calm her down.
And did you read her?
I'm seeing it in my thoughts right now.
It's a lake house. This must be where Cordelia wants me to go. But where is this? There has to be something that can guide me here. Who is this person? Wait. It's Scorobius. He can tell me where this place is. Last I heard, they were holding him down at the station. Time to pay a visit. I think I have all I need. Thank you, Rose.
Erica, wait. I have not quite told you everything.
Really? I had a feeling.
I live up to Baltan's last words. I look for scions and I help them deal with their abilities through training or whatever means necessary. I've taken it upon myself to offer scion salvation. We need to protect our kind. There is much for you to learn about what I do, what we do. But right now, you need to promise me that you will do your best to handle Cordelia. I know that you will use your best judgment with her.
I don't know if right now is the best time to...
This is not an invitation to join us. This is just me trusting you fully. There are others like you, others that have been watching you for some time. Your coming here was not an accident. Know that whatever happens, in here, you will always have a home.
Thank you, Rose.
Your badge and your gun, Reed. Now leave. Take a vacation. and I want you to go through counseling before even thinking of coming back. Is that clear?
You finally found a way to do it. You've wanted to do this since I went against you the night that Scott died. You must be happy now.
No, Reed, I'm not. But after what happened with John at the Enthon Towers, there's no other choice. You need to be off this case and away from this office. But not before I debrief you. I want to know everything that went down in there.
Did you bring Scorobius in?
Yes, he's in one of the interrogation cells. Leave it be, Reed. Collect your things from your desk, and I'll be out in a few minutes for the debrief.
All right, I'll be waiting. But first, I'd like to make a pit stop.
Miss Reed, what a surprise. Weren't you suspended?
I don't have time for your cryptic bullshit right now. I need information and you're gonna give it to me.
You seem very sure about that.
Where is the Smith's Lake House located?
Which one? What country?
I don't have time for your games.
Neither do I, Agent Reed. And I recommend you leave now if you do not wish to get into any further trouble.
Where is Cordelia?
I thought you'd know the answer to that by now.
Please, I really need the information.
And I don't have it. Apologies.
You knew about Keith all this time?
Do you think I'd tell you if I knew? We are surrounded by cameras and microphones. Even if I wanted to help you, I wouldn't say a word. Keep your hands off me.
Where is Cordelia?
I thought you'd know the answer to that by now. What are you doing? Help! Someone help me!
There's no one here right now to save your pompous ass. I need you to tell me where Keith and Cordelia are.
Go to hell!
Max!
You bastard! You were there when Keith dragged Max down. You could have stopped this!
You have no proof of that.
No? How do you think I know? There were cameras, remember?
I'm a lawyer. You can't intimidate me with your insinuations.
You not only falsify documents, but you are also an accomplice to murder. With the points you're racking up here, it's not looking good for you. Do you want to try your luck?
I won't say another word until I see something in writing.
Nobody is watching. Nothing is recording. I don't give a shit about you. I just want the address. Now speak! And I might just forget all about this.
The lake house you are looking for is at 1246 Pleasant Brook Lane in Rockport.
Why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you try to stop him?
I didn't know what Keith had in mind, what he was capable of doing. Besides, it all looked like a sibling's quarrel to me. I hadn't been a father to Keith up to then, and I wasn't about to start.
You piece of sh...
Agent Reed! Agent Holmberg, stop her!
Sorry, Peta. What kind of shit are you getting into, Erica?